All right, all right, all right. Joined a little early, Lane. That's awesome. All right. If you're on YouTube, well, first of all, this is Herb Talk number 22, which is awesome. Um, we're getting a lot of great feedback, a lot of, negative comments, I would say. People saying that, just fun rhetoric on here. Internet trolls, but a lot of really great stuff's happening as well. Um, been helping a lot of people with a lot of different issues, and they're getting real results, which is just phenomenal, and that's what we want to see. But all giving glory to God the whole way through, which is awesome. So this is Herb Talk number 22, and it is autoimmune series number 12. So today, so I'm gonna get you in here, Lane. All right. Today we jump into what like a low histamine protocol would look like if you downloaded the app and are using the autoimmune app, right, for low histamine diet and herbs and supplements and all that stuff to take. It's downloadable on Apple or utilized by internet for Android. But if you download the autoimmune wellness app, um, you'll notice that it has a full low histamine protocol, and that's the what I recommend autoimmune disease patients to get on while they are healing. Right, it's a very simple, easy diet to follow. It focuses on clean calories, fresh, all that good stuff, but also has all the different herbs for your different diseases and such. Now, if you don't want to go buy all of those herbs separately and create your own thing, I've got a whole bunch. Wait, where am I at? Right here. A whole bunch of herbs right here that I make and um, buy wholesale and resell and stuff for the different autoimmune conditions, but also other conditions as well. So you can go to greathealthbygod.com. You can get on a one-on-one call with me and we can go through everything through school. So just message me and whatever you're dealing with, we can do that, set something up, um, and get you taken care of. Now I'm just getting all this started, so some of it's a little bit delayed in getting it to you. I know some people are still waiting on their stuff, but I'm waiting on a couple of things to come in before I send it all out to them. So, um, but if you're on YouTube, get on our school, get on the live. It's a lot of fun. We're able to get questions answered and all that good stuff, but as well, get some great information out there for those who need it. Today, I'm going to talk about the one that we're giving away as well. Um, other than that, I guess we can get started, I believe. Let me think if there's anything else. I think that's it for now. If you're on YouTube, the link is in the description on what you on where to go to get to school, right? To the school account. So download the app, get involved. It's pretty sweet. I've got really awesome drink here. This is a Heavenly Perk from the Humble Perk Coffee Shop. Um, we are almost up and running for the Humble Perk coffee trailer, which is really exciting. All organic ingredients. This is a berry type energy drink that has probiotics and everything in it with and oat milk and organic caramel and agave and vanilla. And it comes out to be this like creamy cotton candy kind of amazingness. And it's awesome. So, um, if you're local, these are really good. And this is like a 21 ounce. So we do these in the 21 ounce because we put the full energy drink in there, which is like 12 ounces, and then the rest of the ingredients. Um, and then the other coffees and stuff like that we do, the organic coffees. No, this isn't one. The organic coffees are in 16 ounce, but the cold brew is really good. The hot coffee is really good, and every ingredient that we use is organic or beyond organic or better, right? So we try to do the best ingredients that we possibly can. Really good stuff. Hopefully in the future we'll be opening up some like herbal mocktails as well, and you can buy them in like 6 packs because they're in cans and stuff. So pretty sweet. So if you're local, let us know. We'll be setting up. Join our Facebook. Follow us on Facebook, The Humble Perk. Let's get started with a structured low histamine protocol. It's designed to reduce the total histamine load on the body. Last week we talked about histamine, and this allows you to calm down the immune system and nervous system and stabilize it, right? So in okay, in many autoimmune patients, histamine acts like an amplifier, right, for the inflammation. It's like we talked about last week. It's not like a determining factor, but it sure can make it seem like it's a lot worse than it really is, right? So, so lowering histamine intake can quickly reduce symptoms such as skin reactions, digestive issues, headaches, nervous system overstimulation. So this approach is not intended to be permanent, right? It is a short-term strategy. Typically, so typically it's used for around 30 days to calm the system and identify how much histamine is contributing to the symptoms. But during this time, both dietary sources of histamine and triggers of histamine release are minimized, right? Um, but like I said, I for autoimmune patients, it's really good to just kind of be on a low histamine diet, and then after they start to see results, start adding different things in. Um, and you'll notice you'll take to them much easier once you get into a specific. Um, Man, can you hear me? Because I totally forgot I had my mic over here. It's not even on my shirt. Check, check. Probably hear me a lot better now. Put it down here. Anyways, um, man, I was totally unprepared there. But the focus, right? The focus is on eating foods that are fresh, simple, and low in histamine. Um, Most of the time, if the food is in the grocery store and it's in a package, it's probably not a low histamine food, right? Any processed food is not going to be low histamine. Um, any food that sits for too long is not going to be low histamine. Um, there's just a lot of factors you have to watch out for. You can't just go get anything, right? But fresh is key. Fresh is key. Fresh meat is one of the most reliable protein sources and fat sources, but freshness is critical, right? Meat should be cooked and eaten immediately. Histamine levels increase rapidly once the food is stored under refrigeration, even under refrigeration, right? So fresh fish can also be included if it is truly fresh, um, and consumed right away. Fish that has been stored or is not handled properly can accumulate high histamine levels very quickly. Eggs are generally well tolerated for many people, um, and provide a clean source of protein and nutrients, although they may be temporarily removed if you have sensitivities like I did, right? So I temporarily removed eggs because they didn't sit well with my gut. I got my gut right. I introduced eggs back in. Great, greatest thing ever. Now all I want are eggs because they're the most complete food on the planet, right? Um, most vegetables are allowed, particularly those that are not known to trigger histamine release. That includes vegetables such as zucchini, carrots, broccoli, leafy greens, while avoiding higher or histamine uh, liberating vegetables. So all that is on in the autoimmune wellness app, right? So it tells you exactly what vegetables, fruits, all that stuff are low histamine. It has some of the high histamine stuff in there, and it tells you, hey, avoid this because most people, and it only says it for some of the stuff because it's, we really just focus on what you should eat and not what you shouldn't eat for the most part. There are a list of warnings and things that you should avoid, but we mostly focus on what you should be eating because there's a infinite amount of things that you shouldn't be eating when you're doing a low histamine protocol. But we try to focus on the positive. But things like avocado are high histamine, right? And people love avocados, think they're the healthiest thing ever, but they're really high histamine that could be causing problems if your diet or if your gut is not right, right? Or if you have an autoimmune issue. So something to think about. Most fruits are also included, with the exception of those that are more commonly associated with histamine reactions, such as citrus fruits and strawberries. So those are two things that Leah, my daughter, cannot have because, and actually we're on the downslide of that now. So she's slowly introducing stuff back in. We haven't introduced strawberries yet, but we'll allow a little bit of citrus in a meal, right? It's not that big of a deal. Um, so, or, we'll make our own agave nectar lemonade or something like that, and she can have that. So, those sort of things, we're not too worried about the citrus now because she's on the downslope into remission, which is really good. So, um, simple carbohydrates such as rice, quinoa, oats are typically well tolerated as well. They're clean, stable energies without triggering inflammation or histamine release. Fats such as coconut milk and other simple, minimally processed fats are also included as they support energy and help maintain blood sugar balance. I love just animal fats. I think they're the best ever. They're super rich in different vitamins, but as well, they are usually a lot more clean than most plant-based fats, right? But coconut is one that I really like because it goes past certain digestive factors and starts to convert into um, energy and everything else that you need through the liver, which is really awesome. Um, most herbs and spices are acceptable, right? As long as they are not vinegar based or heavily processed. Fresh or dried herbs are generally well tolerated and can support both flavor and anti inflammatory processes. And we've gone through a bunch of those herbs and spices and stuff that you can use in your food. Um, Foods to avoid during this phase include fermented aged leftovers. Um, these are consistently high in histamine due to the breakdown of proteins over time and microbial activity. If you didn't hear before, this is called a heavenly perk from the Humble Perk coffee shop. I got in the truck today, fired it up, and made some coffee and some of these little cotton candy drinks. Are really good. We'll be opening soon. So alcohol is also excluded because it both contains histamine and inhibits the DAO enzyme, which we talked about a little bit last week. And I think we've touched base on a lot of this stuff, but now we're just kind of combining it into one lesson here. So reducing the body's ability to break down histamine, right? When you don't have DAO production in your cells and your gut lining, that inhibits the ability for you to break down histamine that comes from foods. Normal people with a good gut, which is hardly anybody now, is they're able to break down histamine in the body or in the food when it enters the body. Normal people are. But you have to have a good gut in order to do that. And that's pretty rare nowadays. So everybody's getting way too overloaded on histamine, immune signaling, genetic signaling from histamine, and it's causing a lot of issues. So get your gut right. Can't say it enough. Processed foods are removed because of all the additives, the preservatives, and their tendency to increase inflammation and disrupt gut health. So if you've eaten processed foods, if you've taken antibiotics, if you've taken any medication, your gut is ruined. You have to get it back on track. Luckily, it doesn't take long, right? Luckily, God has built a system of grace within you, and you can heal. If he did not do that, then we would all be killed over by now. So, luckily, by the grace of God, he has done that. Vinegar and vinegar-based foods are avoided because they are fermented and can significantly increase histamine levels. There are things you can do if you want to. So initially, just like knock everything down, right? And do your best to do low histamine as best possible. And then if you want to introduce a fermented food or some vinegar or something along those lines, you can take a DAO supplement, diamine oxidase supplement, that helps to get rid of that histamine. You take it 15 minutes before you eat it or whatever you're going to do, and it will help break down that histamine. Really awesome. It is standard. I say it is a standard protocol in helping people transition in autoimmune disease. We have it. We use it for Leah, and uh, she still uses it when she can't get what she needs, like as far as fresh food. If she has to eat some leftovers or she's at a friend's house or something, she'll take it with her. And she'll take it if, they go out to eat or something like that, because there's some processed food involved in everything, histamine. So it'll help in that process so it doesn't overstimulate her immune system, right? Now, there's other things that are going on with that she probably shouldn't be eating, but we're being a little more lenient now. But that's kind of the idea, is that it will help to break that histamine down when you're in transition of getting your gut right, getting these things working initially in your gut. So certain high histamine or histamine liberating foods such as tomatoes are also removed, as they can trigger symptoms even if they are otherwise considered healthy, right? Avocados, bananas are a histamine liberator. So not that they have histamine in it, but they help release histamine in the body once they're consumed. So by following this protocol, the total histamine burden is reduced, giving the body an opportunity to rebalance. And after this period, foods can be gradually reintroduced, right? And like I said, for people that don't necessarily have an autoimmune condition, but they want to kind of figure out what's going on with this histamine deal. If they have symptoms and different things, but they don't quite, it's not like chronic, but it's kind of random, maybe even going on a low histamine protocol is really good because they can figure out what works with their body and what doesn't. Fasting is really good too, but not everybody is that extreme, but it is something that everybody should get into. We have a whole fasting course that you can go through, but it's not necessary for this particular thing. Uh, this is a really good way to figure out what works with your body, what doesn't, what you react to. So typically 30 days, right? 30 days is not a long, crazy commitment, right? But if it's going to improve your health, by far 30 days low histamine protocol it's a really good thing to do. So by following this protocol, it reduces all of that. And after this period, right, you can gradually reintroduce all those different foods, right? So that this allows for a more personalized approach rather than unnecessary long-term restrictions. So batch cooking can still be used on a low histamine protocol as well. So it requires careful handling to prevent buildup. So you can still prepare meals, but histamine forms as proteins break down over time, right? So especially when food is stored in the refrigerator for extended periods of time. So the key principle is minimizing the time the food spends aging in that aging window, right? So cook foods fresh whenever possible, but if you want to cook batch cooking or prepare meals for the week or something like that, cook it in smaller portions and throw it in the freezer, right? It should be cooled quickly and thrown in the freezer. That way it can be used later on. So don't let it sit around at room temperature or in the fridge even for long periods of time. Throw it right in the freezer and you can use it later on. So once cooled, portions should be stored immediately. If it'll be eaten within a few hours, it's not that big a deal. But otherwise, throw it in the freezer. It's a much more effective strategy. Essentially pauses the histamine development by halting bacterial activity or enzymatic activity or anything that could be processing after cooking. So food should be portioned into individual servings. That way you don't leave any to age any further after that. So you're only eating each section at a time and only bringing it out of the freezer each section at a time. This is kind of obvious stuff, but I have to say it for some people. But having that instruction, a lot of people like. But just single servings, pulling it out each time, not allowing it to thaw out and start to break down, super critical. So this approach allows for the convenience of batch cooking without the same risk of histamine accumulation that comes from storing leftovers in the refrigerator. So, got to read labels, as histamine related triggers are often hidden in processed foods. So, ingredients such as yeast extract are commonly used as a flavor enhancer, usually a mouthfeel thing, or a binder, but it can act as a histamine liberator or contribute to glutamate related reactions, which may worsen symptoms in sensitive individuals. The term natural flavors is another broad category. I harp on this all the time. Natural flavors are not exactly natural or as natural as we would think, right? Um, the term natural flavors can include a variety of compounds. So some of which may be derived from fermenting or processed sources that contribute to histamine load. Other additives like preservatives or flavor enhancers can also trigger histamine release. That's why I said stay away from the processed foods during this. You should just stay away from processed foods regardless, but um, these things, these flavor enhancers and all these additives can release histamine and increase overall inflammatory burden. For this reason, foods with a long ingredient list or vague labeling are best avoided during the low histamine phase. They're best avoided um, all the time, all the time. Just avoid them like the plague, right? Focusing on whole, minimally processed foods provides greater control over histamine exposure and reduces the risk of hidden triggers. Histamine is not the only problem with processed foods. There are many, many thousands of problems with processed foods. Um, in 1985, there were something like 15,000 new chemicals introduced into the environment without any testing or FDA approval or anything like that. So be careful with processed foods. Make sure I got everybody in here for this. Yes, for the drawing. I'm going to talk a little bit at the end about what we are giving away this month. Pretty good stuff. Uh, Stop and get some stuff. Okay, got it. So, like I said before, taking a DAO supplement before meals provides temporary support. Right? It's not like it's not a crutch. It is a. It's a. If I need it, if I want to, um, if I can't quite get the food that I need, then DAO is a really good one for histamine specifically. For other toxin like processed food and everything, just avoid the processed food because there's other toxins that are going to uh, have significant issues on your immune system that you don't want to have a problem with or deal with. But DAO or histamine specifically, DAO is really awesome. It is the primary enzyme in degrading histamine from food when it enters into your diet or in through your diet, right? Vitamin C, it plays multiple roles in histamine regulation as well. It acts as a natural antihistamine. I love it when I got that crazy uh, IV reaction, my face swelled up and everything like that. Vitamin C was top of my list um, because that is a histamine release, and so it acts as a natural histamine or antihistamine by helping degrade histamine and reducing its levels in the blood. So it also stabilizes mast cells, which is really important. And we talked a little bit about mast cells last week and their involvement in histamine release. Histamine degranulation is what it's called. Uh, Decreasing the release of histamine in response to triggers, right? So those sort of triggers where poison ivy, poison oak, those sort of things, those are triggers, histamine triggers. Allergic reactions in general are histamine triggers, right? So having good levels of vitamin C, uh, quercetin, those sort of things will help to reduce those sort of crazy allergic reactions, those over the top allergic reactions that some people have to certain things, right? Um, so, in addition, and if you don't believe that, you have shots that you can take for allergic reactions. That you can take those. Obviously, those are hormonal, but so is histamine. Histamine is a neurotransmitter hormone, right? It is very much. Yeah, that's the pathway right there. So when you have proper levels of stuff, those over the top allergic reactions tend to be lessened a lot more, which is natural, right? Um, the idea that we have these crazy over the top reactions with asthma, stings, um, nut allergies, all these things, it's not natural. Those are things that we develop. So, in addition, vitamin C supports DAO function, right, as a cofactor and contributes to overall immune balance. It also reduces oxidative stress, which is closely linked to histamine release and inflammatory signaling. So, regular intake can help lower baseline histamine levels to improve tolerance. Right there. Vitamin B6, particularly in its active form, so the methylated form. This is why we have the methylated vitamins that we sell. That's another item in the methylated vitamins. The pyridoxal 5-phosphate is required for the production and activity of DAO enzyme. Without sufficient B6, the body cannot effectively produce DAO, which limits histamine breakdown. B6 is also involved in neurotransmitter synthesis and methylation, right? So both of which influence histamine regulation and nervous system balance. Supporting B6 levels helps improve both enzymatic function and overall metabolic processes related to histamine clearance. Copper and zinc are essential trace minerals that support DAO activity, broader immune function. Copper is directly involved in the structure and function of DAO enzyme, while zinc plays a role in the immune regulation and helps stabilize mast cells. So it's a strategy, right? You're not just going directly after histamine or producing DAO. You're also strategizing to control and help the mast cells regulate so they're not releasing a ton of histamine, right? So maintaining that proper balance between copper and zinc is important, as excessive or excess or deficiency of either can disrupt enzyme activity and immune balance. So these minerals also contribute to antioxidant defense and tissue repair. So herbs of the week. The herbs of the week are holy basil or tulsi. I love holy basil. It is in our autoimmune tea as one of the staples, along with nettle and some others. But it provides support by stabilizing mast cells and reducing stress-related triggers of histamine release. As an adaptogen, it helps to regulate the body's response to stress, which is a major factor in mast cell activation. It calms the nervous system, reduces cortisol dysregulation. Holy basil helps lower one of the key drivers of histamine release. It also has anti-inflammatory effects and can modulate the immune system signaling and contribute to the overall balance of it. This is one that I really like and recommend for specific people, but you can also grow it. It's really great. I mean, basil you can grow, but this next one you can also grow. Ginkgo biloba. It's really great. Helps through different mechanisms by influencing platelet activity factor, or PAF, right? So PAF is involved in inflammatory and allergic responses and can trigger mast cell degranulation, so leading to histamine release. Most people take ginkgo biloba for its stimulation to the micro stimulation to the capillaries, right? So it stimulates blood flow to all the micro capillaries. There we go. So I'm making sure we got everybody in here. Let me check. All right. Got everybody in the drawing. So most people take Ginkgo for its micro circulation stimulation. Yeah. Trying to make sure I'm saying that right. Microcirculation stimulation. It gets oxygen, gets blood flow, gets the everything to the microcapillaries, which are the small blood vessels, right? That are in your brain, in your fingers, toes, all that kind of stuff. Really great for neuropathy. Really great for just oxygenation. Great in like memory protocols and stuff to get lecithin, choline, all that kind of stuff to your brain. The materials that your brain uses for neuroplasticity, all of those sort of things. Just oxygen and the sugars, right? Glucose that your brain needs to stimulate and create energy. Um, all those sort of things, right? Really, really great for that. But it also helps in histamine release, reducing histamine. So it's got a multifaceted herb. Helps to calm down allergic reactions by helping control mast cell degranulation. Super awesome. Really great herb to take. And it grows everywhere here. It grows everywhere, if I'm not mistaken. It's got a pretty broad range of where it can grow. I don't think it grows where it's too hot, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it's like a zone 3 to 9 or something like that. So you're in zone 10 or 11, you may not be able to grow it, not very well at least, but you can get it. It's pretty widely available. Um, and if you want it, go to Great Health by God and get the neuro support. I've got it ready to go. So it's got ginkgo in it, standardized extract, good stuff. So together, these herbs help. Um, Together, these herbs help support histamine regulation at multiple levels, right? So DAO supplements assist with immediate breakdown of dietary histamine. Vitamins and minerals support the enzyme production and function, and the herbs like holy basil and ginkgo help to reduce the triggers that lead to histamine release in the first place, right? So it's so together there's a really great combination. There's other things that help, right? But these are some of the main characters that play a role. I really like DMSO and MSM, mostly MSM for internal use. Really great with regulating mast cells as well. So that is also one of the things I took while dealing with the um, poison ivy. I don't know why I can remember that. This month's giveaway is called Age Rescue. I don't remember if I went over this. Zoom, auto focus. There we go. All right. So, Age Rescue, really cool stuff. So, I accidentally got this, but this company is really, really great. They make some really awesome stuff. And then because I accidentally got this, and then I messaged him and said, "Hey, you accidentally sent me this when I needed this other product." And I went to go fulfill an order, but I couldn't do it. And they were like, "Oh, we're so sorry." They refunded me, and then they sent me 2 extra of the other product and a mushroom complex. I was like, "Hey, man, you guys rock," because they messed up. So there, I got all these supplements, and like, oh wow, this is great. But really good company, really good stuff. I've been looking at them for a little while, and I like a lot of their formulas, and they're very applicable to what a lot of people need today. They're actually out there in the field, looking, listening to the problems that are going on in the world and what people need. And so, Age Rescue is what we're giving away. I think I did go over a little bit of it last week and what was in it, but colostrum, super awesome. Arginine, super awesome. Vasodilation. Lysine, super awesome. It's got a bunch of good stuff in here. Glycine, really good for your gut. All sorts of stuff, right? So it's kind of it's a very simple formula, but it helps support all those little things that aren't working as well when you start to age, right? So um, I certainly could use it. I love the L-arginine and colostrum especially, um, and L-lysine. L-lysine is great to keep viral activity down. So all that kind of stuff. But any questions today? Anything on people's minds? We've been doing some really good stuff, getting some really good results. There's another lady that just joined recently that I was helping through TikTok, out of all places. Um, really cool results that she's getting, and praise report. She is like, this changed everything for me, and I am all in for God and all this stuff because of what we're able to help her with. Super cool. Um, Super cool. That's exactly what this is all about, showing how God provided all these things, and we can heal because of the system and the things that He's provided. So that's what it's about, y'all.
Matt, when you were giving off your high histamine examples, it was like you were staring right at my breakfast plate this morning. I was like, oh my word, not a thing with low histamine on my plate.
Yeah, you can. So that's what I mean. Is we think that we're eating healthy, right? And it could be healthy, right? It could be that your gut's working fine, and you're not having these issues that normal autoimmune patients have, right? But uh, you don't know. You don't know until you taper that back and undo the veil and see it, right? So you have to, yeah, you got to be careful. Uh, and some people get immediate reactions from histamine because their gut isn't right. They get headaches, migraines, those sort of things. So if that's something that you're like get often, then maybe yeah, you should taper back and look and try to eat super 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 clean, and then start to add different things in and see where you're at with it. So it's definitely something to look at because people think they're eating healthy and they could be healthy foods, but not for them. That's the key. So they got to be healthy for you, right? So histamine is one of those things that most people don't really realize or look at because they don't see it as something in their food, and they see it as something that's produced in their body, which it is from your mast cells, but it's also something that's in your food. So, any more questions? We're getting quicker and quicker with this. Let's see. It'll be okay. Next week, I'm going to have to change the time that I do this because we are going to get baptized at a river. So, and I think that's happening decently early in the morning. So, I will not be on here. So, we'll have to change the time. So, look out for the time for that, y'all. I'll change the time. I might have to change the time permanently. Does anybody have suggestions as to what time we can change this to permanently? Because if we're going to be running this coffee shop, probably going to have to be open Saturday mornings. Any suggestions? Hmm.
Have you thought about like changing the day or Saturday? Your own.
Either or.
Where's Thursday? Too.
Hi. Y'all listening? I can barely see you or I can't hear you because we barely got signal, I guess, when you're driving. So, any suggestions on the time or day to change this to like permanently going on? Because I can't understand you. Your connection's bad.
I'm going to suggest Tuesday evenings.
Tuesday evenings?
Yeah, because kind of like after 9, most people usually get busy during their day. And then it's summer now. A lot of things are going to be happening on the weekends, especially if you have children. I would say a Tuesday evening.
Tuesday evening. Okay. Any rebuttals to that? Any votes? Anything? I mean, Tuesday evening, I think, would be fine. I'm trying to think of if it would or would not be, but
One Tuesday out of the month, I wouldn't be able to do Tuesday evening because I got a security meeting at church.
yeah.
Okay, but it depends on what time too.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I want to do Saturday nights, but because I know everybody's doing stuff on Saturdays. Saturday mornings are a little bit different. Everybody's just kind of lounging around until they go do something, but for the most part, um, Friday nights, I think people are going to be wanting to do stuff. And so, I mean, Tuesday is fine with me. I don't know about Thursdays, but
It could always be late enough that it's a bedtime herb chat. Then everyone's maybe 8:30, 9. I don't know how if people stay up that late. You wild things.
yeah, can't drink coffee then though.
That's true.
Okay, we'll figure it out. I'll announce it, but I know next week I can't do Saturday morning. So just look out for it. I'll announce it, and in the chat, I'll send out the email to everybody.
Can we also do prayer requests on here?
Yeah,
Um,
there's a whole section
I
for
was
prayer requests too.
well, I meant on live. I was just gonna say if everybody could just keep Matt and I and our family in their prayers, and our church family as well.
To show, yeah. Um, I was going to add a prayer request, or I guess a prayer talk, every week too. And I was looking at Tuesday nights for a prayer request or a prayer talk, where we just kind of pray over things in the community and just different people's prayer requests that they post and stuff. But we can, I mean, that can be changed too. That hadn't been scheduled. Yeah.
It's okay. Or we could also start just the live out with prayer, or ending it with prayer also.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Any other questions? Any other questions? Nothing? Nothing? So that lady that I was telling you guys about last week has joined in the school, but she was doing the recommendations that I was telling you, and I was telling you about last week how she got bit by some sort of spider. The doctors wouldn't help her. Emergency room. She went multiple times because it got worse. They just kept sending her home, so it'll get better. It's fine, and wasn't getting better. She found our channel through TikTok and started messaging me. And I thought it was somebody like trolling me for a little while because she was like super anxiety and crazy about the whole situation. But I went ahead and started, telling her what, like, all the different recommendations and stuff. I sent her my video on the brown recluse bite that I had, and treated myself. And uh, within a week, it's been about a little over a week now, but within a week, it started drying up and healing. And she was super ecstatic about that because she had gotten basically turned down by the medical industry. And it was really bad. Like, her arm looked really bad. I'm trying to find her what she said. She said, my priorities have changed. Praise God. I will serve God. Nothing is more important than him. I needed this. So she said, thank God for I thank God for sending you. I know he sent you. I asked God for help and I received help. I'm changing forever after this. This humbled me, which is just really cool. That's exactly why I started doing this, and just to show that God is in everything, moving, healing, and has given us everything that we need. Super cool. Super cool. Well, if there's no more questions, we can go ahead and close out in prayer. What y'all think?
I was going to say, Matt, I can pray us out if you want me to, or you can. That's fine.
Yeah, go for it. That's awesome.
Great. Father, thank you for us being able to gather together and learn about everything you provide for us in this world to keep us healthy, keep us good. Please cover Matt and Jennifer in their church and be close to them while they're going through these next days. Lord, thank you for everyone who joins in via all the social medias, even now and later. Father, I pray that you give us discernment with everything that you provide so we know how to take care of ourselves in the best way while you lead us spiritually. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
All right, y'all. Well, till next time, I'll send an email out and let everybody know when and post when we decide to do the next one. I don't know if it'll be this Tuesday if we do switch to Tuesdays, but we might just do next week, like Thursday or Friday or something, and then switch to Tuesday. That way, we're not like right on top of each other with the herb talks. So I got to prep them and stuff like that too. So I got to make sure I can get ahead. But next week on Herb Talk, we are still diving into, we're going into the gut, a little bit deeper into the gut stuff, which is good. So we've gone over the gut before, but we're going to dive a little deeper into that. So, because it's extremely important. So some of this stuff we'll reiterate because of its importance, and then we will go into trying to, like, I've got it kind of laid out, but I don't have it all together. So, so we're in week. So next week will be week 13. Yeah, healing gut, and then we'll go into microbiome of the gut, which will be fun. And then week 15 we start our autoimmune by condition. So herbs to take specifically for your autoimmune condition and the specific condition itself, right? So we'll start week 15, we'll start rheumatoid arthritis and joint autoimmunity. And then we'll go into herbs for Hashimoto's, lupus, multiple sclerosis, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis, psoriasis, and skin autoimmunity, all those sort of things, type 1 diabetes. We'll start going into all those different categories on week 15. So, sweet. I'll see y'all then. Have a wonderful day.